Greetings, it is I, Orcarisper, your guide through the Sanguine archives, where we explore the lore of World of Darkness by White Wolf, from a perspective of and a focus on vampires, namely Clan Baali. So let me be your guide through the memories of the blood for today, where we will explore the 1,000 faces, or better said, notable members of Clan Baali. Now when creating the video I realized this will be a two-parter, so I decided to do part A in the light of day, because it's an out of character, more pop culture oriented summary of characters that could be Baali and will help you depict them in your games, and what I think are good Baali candidates in pop culture. So in tonight's venture we will actually seek out TV shows, movies, books and similar that fit the Baali. Or better said, potential Baali, because I can see the Baali embracing them. They aren't perfect, but who is? Keep in mind the Baali are from a franchise where magic and demons are real and their setting is different from others. The second part will deal with actual Baali and their depiction in the game itself, but I will do that at night as a part B. The story of a good Baali is the story of a good villain. Powerful, resourceful, charismatic, an upstanding member of society beyond suspicion, who is highly intelligent, skilled, friendly and a manipulator, as well as a absolutely masterful sociopath. A villain whose goals you can understand. After all, every villain is the hero of his own story. But above all, a great villain must not be stupid, not act impulsively, and always think to plan ahead. Great villains should be intimidating and highly competent. They certainly must have flaws, but they shouldn't make them appear weak, idiotic or even incompetent. Sometimes the best weakness is one of the underlings of that villain, and maybe some betrayal going on. A good villain is not only challenging to the heroes, or in that case the coterie, but actually something that they can't overcome unless they have luck, chances and something happening that is just very convenient for them. If you portray a Baali, it might even be indeed not be the coterie that deal with them, but the coterie may just set some things in place that ultimately will lead to the downfall of said Baali. I also kinda forgot in the depiction video to tell you about the Dabi. The Dabi are the revenant family of the Baali. They are used to the most cruel and unspeakable things. They will be quite weak-willed and not very good as say spies, but they are absolutely obedient, 100% loyal to the Baali, and will carry out anything their master wants. They will be used as toys to play with, to get your desires that you need to fulfill fulfilled. They will act as slave labor and whatever you really need them to be. They will not be in any way rebellious, and they will absolutely do their master's bidding. They will sometimes even have no issues at all sacrificing their life for the master. After all, that's how they are raised, and that's their purpose. They will however not be used as sacrifices, but they will be the ones gathering people who can be used as sacrifices. The Dabi are the perfect minions for your Baali character. They will definitely guard the haven and do whatever they can to please their lord. With that said, I want to start the video proper, focusing on, as I said, pop culture, just to give you a better idea on how Baali can be portrayed and how you, or better said, where you can look for references when trying to portray a Baali. I will start with a spoiler warning, because of course this video will contain spoilers for TV shows and movies. Now, most of the content that I'll present is at least a decade old, if not two, so not too much of a spoiler there left, I guess. Others are going for many years and should be okay, but I will still name clearly the name of the movie and show, then the character, and give you some time to pause or just leave the video at that. With that out of the way, I will start with the show Breaking Bad and the character Gustavo Fring. Now, for those who know Breaking Bad, Gustavo is also in Better Call Saul, which is a show I'll also briefly touch on later, but Gustavo is a perfect character for a possible Baali candidate. Gustavo is absolutely ruthless. He is willing to kill his own men with no mercy. He has no problem killing many people. He has his calm. He walks into a storm of bullets shot at him knowing that he won't be shot because it's important. He keeps his calm in every situation. He is very collected. He is absolutely logical in what he does. He is willing to sacrifice things he built and are dear to him for a greater cause. He is a sociopath par excellence. He has no troubles dispatching of people. He doesn't need anymore that endanger his plans in any way. He doesn't wait a second to kill someone if need be, though he does try to not draw attention and keep killings low and at a minimum. He will also try to be the upstanding member of the community. In the show he is of course a drug lord, but he is also one of the greatest helpers of the police. He donates a lot to police, to the mayor, helps the mayor with the campaign for re-election and stuff like that. He has a hospital named after him and built an entire wing of the hospital for the hospital. He aids the community in many different ways and uses his money to appear as the good nice guy from, I will butcher the name, the fast food restaurant that he owns. A likable character, a absolutely understanding boss who is a perfectionist. He is a perfectionist and he will expect a lot from his employees, but he's willing to show compassion towards them and be forgiving if they make mistakes, working very hard and a lot to keep his business going. Now he does use his business to wash money and of course, launder money, and of course use the trucks to get the drugs from one place to another. So it's pretty much a perfect disguise. Most people will think of him as a very collected, restrained man, a self-restrained man that has a lot of willpower, and he is very friendly and nice. And only those who know him from his drug deals will actually know how intimidating and cruel he actually is. So I think he is a perfect character to look for if you want to portray a Baali. A second character comes from a similar show, Better Call Saul, which is kind of the prequel series. And in that show we have a character that you will definitely know, Lalo Salamanca. Lalo is a character that is, first of all, super charismatic. He's the heart of the party everywhere he goes. He is super likable, he is always smiling, friendly, giving people a good time, being nice, being polite, always making nice comments, sometimes flirting with people. He's just a party guy. He is the person that enters a room and instantly is liked by everyone. Now, he is also extremely ruthless, a killer par excellence. He can dispatch of anyone without a second thought or having any remorse, like he did with the guy at the travel company thing. He will hunt you down. He is highly intelligent. He absolutely knows what he is doing. He doesn't take your BS. If you lie to him, he will notice and he will get you. He can't be talked down once he's decided on doing something. He is super hard with his minions, his underlings that serve under him. He expects a lot from people. He is absolutely ruthless in how he handles things, and I just think he's also a great character to look for if you want a potential Baali character. And unlike Gustavo, he actually seems to enjoy causing pain and misery to other people. He's not so much doing it out of necessity like a Molochim would, which I can see Gustavo as, but more like a Nergali, always looking out to better himself and his family. The next character is from the TV show The Walking Dead, and it's Negan. Now I don't think I have to say too much on why I think Negan would be a perfect Baali. He managed to create his own cult, the Saviors. He has their absolute loyalty, he brainwashed them, no troubles. He has absolutely no remorse, he has no trouble killing people, he has no trouble torturing people. He is very quick to kill people just for show effect and to make a good impression or an intimidating impression. He portrays himself as the absolute good guy, and to some degree that is actually believable. Like, he is a good option if you face death if you don't join him. He knows how to handle people, he knows how to get to and at people, he knows their weaknesses, he knows their strengths, he knows who he has to kill in the group in order to make the group follow him. He knows exactly how to break people, he knows what people fear, he knows what people want, he knows how he can give people just enough so that they are absolutely loyal to him, and at the same time make clear rules that if you break them will get you, and nobody will give a second thought about him killing people if they break the rules. That said, he's actually a great potential Baali character. The next one is someone that I have a little bit more issues seeing as a Baali, but he is up there, and that's from the show The Blacklist, namely the character Raymond Reddington, or indeed the entire Cabal to a degree at least. Raymond has a lot of resources, he knows how to handle his underlings, which are quite resourceful themselves and great. He has been an upstanding member of society, being a high-ranking general in the US military. He manages to get the FBI work for him, kinda. He uses the FBI to dispatch of his opponents. He is absolutely ruthless, he can kill people just like that, even in very gruesome ways, like when he makes a guy disperse, or better said, liquefies a guy in a bathtub, alive I might add. He is definitely very cunning and intelligent, he's always planning big, he is ahead of his enemies, he makes moves that set things in motion that will ultimately turn out to his advantage, even though if you don't see it coming for a long time. He knows how to make friends and how to manipulate people. He is very quick to know which people he can trust and which he can't trust. He is seeing people as assets, always knowing what he can trust someone to do or not to do. So he's kind of playing with the FBI agents as well. He knows how to make friends with them, even though he's technically an enemy of theirs, and he is just very knowledgeable on the underworld. Now the Cabal actually functions pretty similar to a coven, and I can imagine the Cabal in the show actually being a coven of Baali, maybe an opposing coven, because as I said, Baali infighting is quite normal amongst the different factions of the Baali. And the Cabal similarly has a lot of influence, is absolutely ruthless, and has no problem depicting himself as their upstanding member. Indeed, there is a character whose name I forgot, who played a woman that was the head of a big campaign on saving children from slavery and getting girls in Eastern Europe and across the world out of sex slavery, donating insane amounts of money, helping the police and everything, just to make sure that the children are safe. Meanwhile, she is actually in the slave trade and is the one capturing young girls in containers, shipping them around the world to be sold as sex slaves. So she is actually in front as her masquerade, the exact opposite of what she actually is, and pretends to fight what she actually does. That is also a great sign of a Baali character. The next one is from Lord of the Rings, and it may be a bit of a surprise to you too. It's from the original trilogy in Special Part 2, and we're talking about Grima Wormtongue. Now Grima is a bit difficult. Just like Raymond before, he is a bit too emotional and has too many attachments. However, at the same time, he is willing to betray his friends and do whatever he has to do in order to gain power. He is not quite an intimidating character, he is quite slimy and, well, he is Grima. Not really an intimidating person, but definitely a knowledged one who knows who to side with and when and what to do. And while he is a minion of Saruman in the movie, I can totally see him being a Baali ghoul and maybe even becoming a Baali later down the road. He does definitely have the ruthlessness and the drive to power that is necessary and the willingness to do whatever is needed. The next character is kinda self-explanatory, it's Silence of the Lambs, and in the movie it's Hannibal Lecter. Again, I don't think I have to say too much here. As an inspiration, he is a very intelligent, high-ranking member of society, very polite, nice, charismatic, and eats people. No problems killing anyone, and the important thing is he can easily justify it to himself. And that's what makes him a good villain, I think, and he's just an amazing and widely known possible potential Baali. Then we have the Star Wars prequels. Not so much the original trilogy and also not the new trilogy, and we are talking about Emperor, or in that timeline, Chancellor Palpatine. Now, that guy is in the prequels. He is a upstanding, well-respected senator of the Galactic Senate. He has a lot of friends and influence. He uses the Jedi to his advantage without them ever suspecting that he's a Sith Lord. He is very powerful. He can take on multiple Jedi Masters all by himself. He definitely has some tricks up his sleeve. He corrupts Anakin and pulls him to the dark side. He later attempts to and not really succeeds at pulling in Luke as well. So the corruption thing is definitely going on. He is never suspected to be a Sith Lord despite being surrounded by Jedi all the time and being in the focus of the Jedi Order. He is a high-ranking member of society, seems to be quite nice and actually just wanting the best for the people. Which is why he's ultimately elected to be the Emperor, because he is just that convincing, and that is a great Baali character. The next one is Hans Lambda from Inglourious Basterds. Inglourious Basterds is a fun movie, by the way, the only Tarantino movie that I really like, and Hans Lambda is possibly one of the best villains in movie history, which is also why I nominate him to be a Baali. So Hans is very cunning, very intelligent. Most importantly though, he knows things. He immediately gets when you lie to him. He picks on the tiniest clues. There is a scene where he meets again the Jewish girl that he once almost killed, and she is very nervous around him. I mean, he killed her entire family, and he orders some apple strudel with milk for her, because that is what her father, or not her father, but the guy that hid them away, served Lambda when he was searching for Jews. So that is a very subtle hint at, I know who you are. Now the movie doesn't make it clear if Lambda actually knows it, but it's definitely hinted the way he looks at her and plays with her fears and then ordering the milk for her strudel. That is a subtle way to showing, I know who you are, you better watch out. And that is a quality that Baali absolutely should have. Know more than you possibly could know. Having some eerie knowledge that you shouldn't have. On the same note, Hans is also very intimidating. He has no problem killing people. I mean, he hunted Jews, and he kinda liked his nickname as well. He is very sophisticated, he knows how to speak and behave in high society, he is very influential, he definitely has high-ranking assets he can call on. He is absolutely ruthless. Most importantly though, he has absolutely no problem betraying his leader and the Nazis in a second if he thinks it benefits him. He has no problems betraying everything he believed in or pretended to believe in for his own betterment. I think that's also a quality Baali should have, not necessarily betraying the Baali cause, but the cause that they pretend to have with their masquerade, always having a higher goal in mind. And he is also very talented at negotiations, it seems, because he actually gets a pretty nice deal for himself, which again is just the way a Baali should be. And I think I will end this here because it's going longer than I thought it would, and make a part B and part C of this. Now with part B I will be looking into gaming and characters from games. But for now I think I will just end this here and wish you a good day. Hope you had a nice evening with me. If you want to help me out, please like the video, subscribe, and most importantly, share. It really helps a lot and I would highly appreciate it. Thank you and have a good day.